Okay.
I'm not seeing anything on the YouTube. Yes,
Yeah,
I think it
there
still
there
says
is
waiting.
start streaming, there was start recording, and there was go live, and these are three separate verbs. But they like streaming is a
Right.
single verb to me that implies all of these things, including itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
This is
Uh
the behind the scenes outtake.
ooh, the views counter just went from hyphen to zero, which implies to me that it actually is broadcasting now. Now that it's a real number and not a punctuation mark. So I am going to, I suppose, you know what we could do is I could go to the, this is what happens when you only do this once a year. I can follow my own Mastodon link. And will that open in a separate window? No, see, that's not what I want. I am going to, oh my gosh. Okay, Hall of Mirrors. Fine. Here we are. We're doing it. I'm going to start reading.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry, go ahead.
Are, do you want to read?
No, I was just saying hello to our people watching.
Hello, people watching. Hello. My name is Hans Christian Andersen. Perhaps you are familiar with the Little Match Girl, a character that I made up out of my own head and with her many adventures. If you aren't familiar, well, here is all you need to know. First of all, she is a very noble person possessed of rare courage and conviction. Secondly, whenever the Little Match Girl looks at fire, any kind of fire, she is transported to somewhere else in space and time. When she must return from these travels, all she has to do is wake up, and she finds herself back in the here and now as if it had all been a dream. But do not be mistaken, it is no dream. The last thing you need to know is that after her first adventure, the little match girl was adopted by the famous old philanthropist Ebenezer Scrooge, who gave his new daughter the name, oh my god, I should have studied this one. We did this a year ago. Ebenezabeth Scrooge, which is a lovely name to read and just as lovely to say aloud. Ebenezabeth Scrooge, we call out, what will you accomplish on your next adventure? I will tell you, you need only press any key to continue. I shall now press a key. The key is the space bar. How the Little Match Girl got her Colt Paterson Revolver and taught a virtue to a goblin. Another touching short story written in 3 days for #Enigmarch 2023 by Hans Christian Andersen. Release 1, serial number 241204 in Form 7 version 10.1.2, Vorpal version 4.0.1. Study. The little girl and her father had decided that it would be wise for her to practice at her strange ability, though they agreed that it might be dangerous, for she had helped many people already, and if her powers grew, she might help many more. So one night, while it was still very cold in London, Ebenezer Scrooge built a great warm fire in the fireplace in his study. He lit a wax candle too, and an oil lamp, which he set on his desk. And we can see a street lamp through the window, he pointed out, which makes 4 flames to practice with. Ebenezabeth nodded. I'm doing good at this, Ebenezabeth. Excuse me. Ebenezabeth nodded and was careful not to look directly at any of them until she was ready.
All right. 4 flames.
4 flames. Now, are they all in the same street lamp? Like,
No, there's the fireplace and a candle and a lamp.
oh my
And a street
gosh.
lamp.
I was so entranced by the character's focus on the street lamp that I forgot every other source of fire. I am already falling behind in my Little Match Girl uh, uh, connection. But okay, this is why we play these games together. This requires teamwork.
Flameomancy.
Makes the
Yes.
dream work. Um, is there a now? Do you want to start right in and look at a flame, or do you want to get a sense of ourselves first in the traditional fashion?
Yeah, I usually like to do that.
Start off with a little
It's been
X
a while.
me, X Scrooge, inventory, the works. Examine me. She was a little girl with flaxen hair, only 17 years old, or thereabouts, since her former father had never bothered to tell her age or even her birthday. Let's look at the old man. I wonder if do you want to test how deeply the synonyms go? Okay, fine. We won't. We
Is
won't.
he
Hmm?
is Scrooge his name, or is he a Scrooge?
I think
Is
this
he
is
Ebenezer the
literally
Scrooge? Or...
the public domain literary character Ebenezer Scrooge.
Right, but I'm not sure I ever knew whether Scrooge was his name or his vocation or
Oh,
avocation.
like you're not sure if the Dickens character was just called a Scrooge? Like, oh, that old
Right.
Ebenezer, what a Scrooge he is. Like a Grinch.
Yeah.
No, I think his name was
Right.
Scrooge.
Or Grouch.
Well, yeah, because Dickens. I mean, I'm no Dickensian scholar, but I do believe Dickens. His whole. I'm going to say the word oeuvre twice in the same podcast at least, but I think his name oeuvre. That's his whole thing was giving characters, surnames that bespoke their whole deal. So I
Right.
believe the character's name in world was Scrooge, and also his personality at the same time.
Got it.
I do believe now. If anyone in the chat or elsewhere wants to correct me on this, they're welcome to do so. But I'm going to say examine Scrooge. Oh, go ahead.
No, I suspect that the noun a Scrooge probably postdated the story.
I believe it comes from this story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As opposed to it being, a common term for people who are stingy and grumpy.
Miserly and grouchy, but ready to turn over a new leaf as soon as they're terrified of their own mortality or whatnot. Sure.
Yes.
Ebenezer Scrooge. The old man had told Ebenezabeth about that. The old man had told Ebenezabeth all about his life and how much of it he had wasted worshiping at the altar of greed. But I have resolved that the money I hoarded will now be used to better my fellow man, he had said, and I hope in my heart that all such evils can be turned to good.
Okay, so this is post-conversion.
This is clearly a nice Scrooge. He's bought the turkey. He's rescued Tiny Tim from an early grave. He's done all that stuff.
His heart has grown 3 sizes.
His heart has grown 3 sizes. And from all that Christmas goose he's eaten. Okay. Speaking of Christmas goose, yes, we have no inventory. So I think I'm all set with going ahead and looking at some flames.
Sure.
Yeah, what seems good to you? I mean, obviously I was fixated on that street lamp, but I'm not going to insist on it as our starter.
Yeah, I don't... It feels kind of normy to start with the first one, but we could do that.
With the fireplace, you mean?
Yeah, yep.
It's just comfortable. It's start from a place of comfort. I'm totally fine with that. So if we examine the fireplace. The girl looked into the crackling flames, and her eyes began to water, but she went on staring, and then she was in Paterson, New Jersey. Waterfall. The cataract rushes over the cliffs above you, churning and frothing and exploding into curtains of mist. The noise is deafening. You are standing way too close to the river's edge. A dirt road leads northeast into the woods. This is.
Can I say that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm watching the YouTube stream on my TV, and it's all black currently.
It's all black currently. I wonder if it will be in a few minutes.
Okay, I'm wondering if changing the background color did something with the stream or something.
I don't know. Curious. We should. You know what? I'm going to bring that up on my phone. This is live. This is how we make the. Oop. Goodness, I was going to bring this up. Bring this up there. Do one of these. Loading up YouTube. You're right, that is black. That's not what it should look like. Uh, Ryan can see the stream, but he's in Australia.
Oh, I came back.
It came back.
It's there now.
Okay.
All right.
I'm fine. That's cool. Hi, Ryan. His Australian magic. He brought it back.
Great.
He flipped.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Anyway, Paterson, New Jersey. Doug, you're from New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken.
I am.
Yeah.
I've been to Paterson.
I believe there is who wrote the poem about the yellow number 5, the little red wagon full of rainwater. Who's that poet? Yeah.
William Carlos Williams.
William Carlos Williams also wrote an epic poem called Paterson. So, yeah, which I spent a summer in summer semester studying and remember very little of because it was a long time ago. But when I see Paterson spelled with one T, as in the title of this game, my mind goes immediately there, and lo, we are entirely there. So,
yeah.
Do you have any expectations about our current location based upon your own experience and personal history?
Well, very tangentially, there's also a Jim Jarmusch movie called Paterson starring Adam Driver. It was very good. But the thing I remember about Paterson is that the inventor of the submarine was from there, or maybe actually invented it there. I don't know. But there was some sort of submarine related event that happened in Paterson. And so this waterfall makes me wonder if there's going to be some kind of submarining, but that could be totally spurious.
Curious. Okay. We are preparing for possible submarinership. I say we go northeast into the woods. And
yes,
with the sound of a rushing cataract setting the mood. Woods. The road through the trees leads north and southwest. Weeds are growing over ruts in the soil. A heavy coat is slung over a lone fence post, abandoned to the elements. I'm going to yoink that. Don't mind if I do. The coat is a thick leather coat, so capacious that you could easily get lost inside. Well, let's just do that then. Invitation accepted. It's so hot and humid out that pulling on this heavy coat would be torture. Okay, I suppose we won't do it then. So it is a hot and humid day in Paterson, New Jersey, in the woods by the waterfall. Can we look at any of the scenery, the weeds perhaps? Well, the road hasn't been used much lately. But we do have a heavy coat now. Any further ideas before moving on?
Nope.
Guess we could look at the fence. Nope, no we can't. All right then. North is the direction. Outside the factory. The factory is 4 stories of red brick, surmounted by a looming bell tower. The disused road runs through the fence and up to the front door. Take a look at the factory. Dark windows line each floor of the building. The place doesn't look very busy. Shall we just roll on up then? In my head, of course, it is north. Let's see if my guess is correct. Oh, no, it's in.
It's just in.
It's just in. Inside the factory floor is filled with hideously complicated machines, but the place is quiet. Nobody's working. A gentleman with a mustache is leaning back in his chair, rubbing his forehead with one hand. With the other, he absent-mindedly flicks the chamber of a revolver, open and shut, open and shut. A warm breeze comes from outside.
Wow, it's a hideously complicated machine.
Hideously complicated
machines, plural.
Machines.
Many machines.
I want to play with them. Good machines. You couldn't guess what any individual machine does, but you have a good idea what it all adds up to. I don't, but you do.
Adding machines?
Uh,
Is that a
hmm.
hint?
Is it a some sort of ancient computer? Perhaps. Shall we talk to the
I mean,
gentleman?
this was done for Enigmarch, so there is a puzzle, I guess.
Oh, I don't know
So it makes
anything
me think
about
of,
Enigmarch. Do you know anything about that event from last year, last calendar year?
yeah, it's a month of people making one puzzle a day for the whole month.
I see.
So this was day 13 of Enigmarch.
Let's have a look at the
But
gentleman.
so yeah, there's a convention of like putting hints in flavor text, and so when I see adds up to, that makes me think maybe it's a hint that it's
An adding machine. I see. And there are 4 flames, and there's 4 operations on a calculator.
true.
both of these are true
We've
statements.
solved
Yes,
it.
we've solved
Yes.
it. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. Um, he's a young man, the gentleman, but he seems to be very weary all the same. You recognize the look of someone who's had the same headache for a few days straight. Dire.
Hmm.
Look at his revolver. You can't see that. Maybe did I spell revolver wrong? Oh, perhaps I did. It's a shiny steel revolver with a long barrel. Can we talk to the dude? Hello, sir. Are you all right? Hello, little girl. No, I am despondent. What is your name? Ebenezer Scrooge, you say. That's a charming name. Mine is mine is Samuel Colt. Do you see this gun? You stiffen. Yes? Oh, don't worry. I don't want to hurt anybody, least of all a charming little girl, and it's not loaded anyway. But look at this. He waves you over and points out a fiddly little mechanism. See how the hammer does that? And this is new. You can reload it like this. It is very clever, you say. My dear Ebenezer, it's incredibly clever. But nobody is buying them. I just wish. He pulls desperately at his hair, squeezes his temples. I wish for one of 2 things. Either for people to finally buy some of my guns, or for people to appreciate how clever I am. Have you eaten recently? You ask. Not exactly, he says, and I've been busy and miserable. So we have found Sam Colt, busy and miserable,
Yeah.
and lacking in the self-care department, clearly.
Right. It's good to stay fed and hydrated.
I agree. This might be a good point to wake up and try another flame. I don't know if there's anything else obvious here, but here is a person in need, and we have more places to explore. Perhaps we can solve his little dilemma.
Sure. That's right. I forgot that that's how these usually work, that the
Ah,
flames are not self-contained. We need to go between the flames.
I remember because of the bold text that I was encouraged to drop into a lower register of voice for when reading it. Yes, let's wake up. You close your eyes. London 18. Oh, and just like that, she found herself in London, 1846.
Back in the third person.
Back in the third person, a fire was burning in the fireplace, an oil lamp and a candle sat on the desk, and there was a street lamp visible through the window. Ebenezer Scrooge sat in his tall chair and watched his daughter, hoping she was all right. Can you say, I'm all right? Oh, we can talk to Scrooge. Didn't even try that. Would you mind explaining your ability to me again? Asked Ebenezer, for whom all this was very new. Of course, Papa. It is very simple. When I look at a fire, like this candle, or that street lamp, I can travel somewhere else. It seems consistent that a given flame will send me to the same place and time whenever I look at it, but beyond that, I cannot seem to predict where or when I will arrive. When I want to come back here, I just wake up, that's all. I see, said Ebenezer Scrooge. My next thought
Okay,
here
thanks for
would
that
just
exposition.
yeah. Thanks for the tutorial reminder. I just want to keep lawn mowing through the flames, as it were, to mix metaphors.
Sure. Yep.
What's number 2? Oil lamp.
Yes.
Ebenezabeth looked at the tall, steady flame of the oil lamp, and she set her shoulders back and stood up a little straighter herself. But all of a sudden, she was in, woof, Byblos, Phoenicia. Apologies for pronouncing probably both of those incorrectly. Docks. Salt air fills your lungs, but somehow it doesn't smell like the docks back in Copenhagen at all. Long canoes line the piers, pushing each other out of the way to carry urns and bushels to and from the many-oared boats that stand further from the shore. The docks themselves are crowded with traders and laborers in fine robes and ragged loincloths, all in a hurry to move something or grab something or tell somebody to grab something. I'm going to reread that. All in a hurry to move something or grab something or tell somebody to grab something. Traffic mainly comes and goes along roads to the north and east. Let's be perverse and go east instead of north as our first move. Market.
Okay.
The stalls are arranged in tidy rows, but there's no semblance of order. Haggling, accusing, guffawing, cursing, with zero qualms about trampling little girls. Near the edge of the market is a florist stall that isn't attracting many customers. Roads lead west and northwest, and you also notice the entrance to a small, dark shop. Here, there's many things. Well, there's at least many more exits than in the last place we're at.
Mm-hmm.
The florist is leaning on his little table of flowers, his arms crossed. Can we speak to the florist? You introduce yourself to the florist, whose name turns out to be Jmac. The flower business was my dad's, he explains. I guess my heart's not really in it. What would you rather be doing, you ask? He stares at the ground for a while. Some friends of mine are headed up north, he says, where it snows all the time and there are dragons all over the place. I want to go with them, but I don't have the guts. Sometimes you just have to decide to have the guts, you tell him. I've heard that, says Jmac. I don't think there's anything else we can do for him at this time, but stick a pin in Jmac's problem is he needs confidence.
Right.
So I hear. There's a small shop. West is where we came from. What is that shop? The walls of the shop are painted gray as if to make it fade out of your vision, but you see it. It's right there. It's open. I'm going to hit in again. Shop. The air here is heavy with a dungeon. Bleh. The air in here is heavy with a dozen pungent odors. Tall jars crowd the floor, stamped with symbols you can't identify. Hello, little girl. The proprietor is a tall, lithe woman. Her veil covers most of her face, but not her piercing eyes. I'm afraid you've taken a wrong turn. Zadar's is what you might call a high-end establishment. I don't mean to intrude, you say, but you pointedly do not leave. Zadar leans over you, trying to stay between you and the merchandise. There's something spider-like about her long limbs, her cold stare. Perhaps we should talk to her. Have we encountered a spider woman in past Little Match Girl games? This seems familiar somehow. Did we have to defeat a spider?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Or
yeah,
demon
but I don't
lady.
remember the details.
Yeah. Oh, it's
right.
Striking. Okay. Fascinating. Do you have any money? Zadar asks. I'm afraid not, you say. Then why are you here? You shrug. I mean, it is a fair question. Yeah, it is a fair question. Let me look at the merchandise. You can't quite do that to the air. Well, fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can't examine the air?
Can we smell? Focusing on the smell is making your head spin. Yeah, I guess, jars. The jars are all sealed, but not well enough to keep their smells in. The stamps don't look like any letters you've seen in Copenhagen or London.
They're Phoenician.
A astute guess. If that is indeed a language, I do not know.
But I believe it is a lettering alphabet,
Um,
predecessor of the Roman alphabet.
I have no other ideas in here. Do you have any
Nope.
leads? Okay, out we
Nope.
go.
We're looking for food, I think.
We're looking for
Yes.
something to feed or otherwise hydrate or get Colt out of his funk, and we're looking for something to give Ishak guts and to pay Zadar. Maybe I'm not sure where that's going. Northwest from the market is the garden. Flowering trees line the promenade. Difficult to see through the crowd. The plaza is built around a stone platform which passersby decorously, is that how I pronounce that? Sure. Avoid. Passersby decorously avoid. Roads lead southeast and south. So
I might say decorously.
decorously? Yeah. I will solve that by never saying it again. The platform has been raised for the display of a limestone. Oh, another. Is it steel? Stel?
Don't know.
Oh my god. The platform has been raised for the display of a limestone slab, itself perhaps as tall as you are. Vertically arranged slab. The rock is carved with letters you can't read, even if you are close enough to make them out. A local notices you staring. It's the stone of King Azabal. Oh, excuse me. It's the stone of King Azabal, she whispers. Just a list of battles. When you turn to thank her, she's already gone. Ooh, does that happen a second time if we look again? Nope. Apparently, it's a list of battles in honor of King Azabal. So we got that going on.
Yep, battles.
Got some battles. If we find a crayon and a paper, we can get Phoenician battle list.
Right.
That's within our power. Okay. And I think that's all we got here. Like this is a game that based on how long did it take Ryan to make this? What did he say? 3 hours?
3 days.
3 days. Okay. Even whatever. Still in all, I don't think this is going to be enormously complicated with a lot of hidden fractal surfaces. So I think everything that we need is just going to be zooming around and looking at things that are out in the open, and then figuring out how to piece together. So with that in mind, we are actually told here, remember to go back in London. All you have to do is wake up as a little nudge, nudge. Shall we do that and try another destination?
Let's awaken.
Here we are, and let's look at a candle. The flame atop the candle was very small compared with the fire that burned in the hearth, or even compared with the flame of the oil lamp that sat next to it on the desk. But Ebenezabeth knew better than to underestimate small things. The fire seemed to understand this kinship, and it took her to a paper castle. Courtyard. Walls of pale pink paper surround you. Beneath your feet is a sheet of green paper, which represents grass. Lying in the center of the courtyard is a piece of looking glass, which stands for a transparent lake. Little swans made of wax swim across the lake and are reflected in it. One tall doorway cut out of the paper walls leads into the great hall of the castle. Another tall doorway leads outside, and an odd gap between the two sheets of paper leads into a shadowy corridor.
So are we tiny, or is this huge?
I do not know.
I guess it's all relative.
When we examine ourselves, we see you are a girl with flaxen hair, only 17 years old, but you are not quite here. You are like a ghost.
Or haunting.
Check out the things. Examine castle. The paper walls are as pale as with dutiful precision, so that all the angles are perfectly square, or as square as can be expected. Hand cut, presumably. No protractors involved.
Can we get a swan?
I want to look at the swans. Yeah, the wax swans bow politely when they notice you, but then they go back to swimming around the lake.
Hmm.
Let's just grab a swan. I don't suppose the swans would care for that.
Yes.
So we're in the courtyard. We can
Wax
go.
swans have preferences.
They do. They do. Swans, nonetheless, with agency. We can go outside. We can enter an odd gap, or we can go into the Great Hall. I'm of a mind to go outside. Get a bigger picture view. Outside the castle, several other things besides the paper castle. Here is a pencil and a Bible and a ball of twine. And here is a tin soldier staring through the gateway into the castle. I gotta talk to this dude. You ask the soldier what is the matter. I am in love, he says. I am in love with the dancer who lives in the castle, but I can never be with her. It is out of the question. It was explained to me by a goblin who also lives in the castle. She is a lady of great status, accustomed to luxury. I am a poor army man with very little status and no money. A woman like her could only love someone who can keep her in expensive clothes and give her expensive presents. The goblin made all of this very clear. I see, you say.
Hello?
Hello?
Sorry, you went silent for a minute.
Oh, did I not read the last paragraph?
You're back.
Okay.
I didn't hear it, but go ahead. Go on.
So I examine the soldier. The tin soldier has only one leg, but he stands quite solidly nonetheless, because his one foot is firmly attached to a broad platform also made of tin. He carries his rifle on his other side to balance himself. His uniform has been painted with on with a delicate hand, and it is only slightly chipped. He is gazing longingly across the castle hall.
Another gun.
Another gun. Nope. Not the important gun, not the salient gun of the story.
Right.
A peripheral gun at best.
Did Colt make rifles? I don't know.
I don't know. And I shall not speculate. Let's go into the castle and see what's going on in the Great Hall. We are being reminded we can wake up and go back to London, but I am not of mind to do that so quickly. Great Hall.
So we need expensive clothes? Is that what the bottom line
maybe. Well, that's what the goblin says, but that's a goblin. And according to the suggestion of the title of the story we are playing, it is the goblin who we are going to teach a lesson to. So I don't know if I want to immediately take the secondhand word of a goblin as gospel, as it were. Oh, speaking of gospel, right. I forgot that there was like Bible and other stuff out there. Actually, let me run back outside. Let's check out the other things. Bible. The Bible is in very good condition, and it is clearly treated with great respect by its owner. But perhaps it would be better if its corners were a bit more worn, or its pages were a bit more crinkled, not from neglect, of course, but from frequent perusal. But perhaps we shouldn't judge. And there's also a pencil and twine, if I recall correctly. It's a very cheap pencil, almost broken, with no eraser. Like now we can get into like what the scale of things here. Yeah, the pencil is twice as long as you are tall, so I think we are.
Okay.
It's the biggest ball of twine you've ever seen.
Yep.
You can't roll it. Okay, fine, very well. What if we grab it anyway? Nope, that's not something you want to carry around. We could, but we won't. Great Hall. The Great Hall of the castle is very tall and airy, a perfect venue for music and dancing. At the moment, there is only one person here besides you, a lovely young dancer cut from the same pink paper as the castle itself. Winsome features are drawn in pencil on the dancer's face. Her dress is made from clear muslin, and a little blue ribbon over her shoulders serves as a scarf. At the moment, she is standing on the toes of one foot, her other foot raised very high in the air. She looks as if she could hold this pose indefinitely. How on point of her.
Huh.
I could talk to her. The dancer smiles and says hello without breaking her pose. How are you? You ask. Oh, little girl, she says, I'm very sad. I am in love with a handsome tin soldier who stands guard outside this castle. But he could never love me in return. Why not? Because I'm unsuitable, says the dancer. See on my foot, the one I keep raised out of sight, there is a smudge. You think you see what she means. I'm sure the soldier would overlook a little smudge like that. Absolutely not. The goblin who lives in this castle told me all about it. A respectable man like that soldier will have nothing to do with a dirty woman like me. I see, you say.
Seems like everybody needs a little confidence.
Everybody, at least two characters are being directly manipulated by this goblin.
Mm.
But yeah, I guess confidence
Yes,
is
true.
There's just a lot of self-doubt going on around here. Except I guess Colt does not have self-doubt. He just blames everybody else, and he needs a sandwich.
Right.
Also, well, let's see if we can meet this goblin. So he is probably in this corridor. Examine the corridor. The walls are glued together imperfectly or else have been pulled apart somewhat, creating a space that opens on a dim hallway. A space quite large enough for you to enter. I think we actually have to specify the corridor because just saying in, as we have seen, takes us into the Great Hall. Dark corridor. This might not be a proper part of the castle at all, but a bit of unplanned extra space between the walls. A snuff box lies on the floor. How curious. It is a carved wooden snuff box, rather too large to be moved from place to place conveniently. Well, can we open it? You pull the latch of the snuff box. The lid flies open, and a spring-loaded goblin pops out, shrieking with laughter. I got you good, he wheezes. Oh, you should see the look on your face. You were like... He pulls a very stupid-looking face. You take a deep breath. Check out our new friend here. This gentleman is a felt goblin, sewn into a spring-loaded snuff box. He won't stop licking his lips. All right. We need to have a word with our friend here. Why did you tell the soldier that the dancer would only love him if he could bring her expensive gifts? It's true, cries the goblin. No, it's not. He shrugs. Yeah, you're right, I lied. To protect him. Love is a source of misery to all who wallow in its benightedness. I guided that soldier away from a path of self-destruction. Oh, how noble of you. I want to repeat it again because we have two complaints here, in fact, and it's the same story. So the goblin's problem is cynicism? I guess?
Sure.
Can we do anything else with the goblin? This is not a game where you can ask X about Y, I suppose. Nope. Okay, and that was just talk to. Has that results there? Any other ideas for this area?
No, I think we explored every exit? I think we have.
I think so. There's nowhere else to go but outside, and I think the pencil specifically has no eraser on it. Yes, specifically so that we cannot offer to help the dancer. Because
right.
The point is not to fix her perceived problem. It is to fix her perception, which is to fix the goblin somehow.
Right.
All right. One more flame to go then.
Yes.
And that would be the street lamp. The very thing that mine own eyes fell on. Foist. Ryan in the chat asks, I think this may count as a bug. There ought to be text when the goblin also explains why he told the dancer why the soldier wouldn't love her. I'm just not seeing it. So, shrugs. Ebenezabeth looked out the window at the street lamp as its flame danced and flickered in the darkness, and it carried her away, far away, to Tharsis, capital of Mars. Spaceport. The air, not the first time we've been to, I think specifically Mars, as Little Match Girl, if I recall correctly. The air is so ionized, it's making your head spin. The rust-colored sky is thick with ships taking off, landing, bumping into each other, blipping their klaxons in retaliation. On the ground, everyone is hurrying, hands in their pockets, eyes on the pavement. At the center of all this is an overworked traffic algorithm, waving and whistling at people and ships, and ignored by everybody. Busy streets lead south and east. Oh, the poor algorithm. To feel sympathy with the algorithm. The algorithm...
Is this like Martian Chronicles era Mars?
Like Bradbury era?
Yeah.
This doesn't quite feel like that. This feels more pedestrian, if you will.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I think like when I think of like Martian Chronicles, that seems like... Was there like a lot of the stories in that were pretty disparate from each other in their sort of tone, but they all seemed kind of wistful and sad, and it was sort of a abandoned, dying Mars, even among the indigenous population, if you will.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's true.
It has been a while, so perhaps it is. But as for the algorithm is desperately trying to direct traffic both on the street and in the air with its various limbs and monitors. It understands that this is pointless, but it can't give up. So talking to everybody is clearly the order of the day. You try to introduce yourself, but the algorithm tells you, a little sadly, to move along, little girl. Oh, so there is sadness here. Maybe it is Bradbury.
It just needs guts.
Oh, we just need guts and confidence. I think you're right. That does seem to be the through line. Look at the traffic. Same as the algorithm. People, no. Okay. Let's walk down a street. Let's go south this time. Public park. An elaborate system of fountains crosses the park, spitting jets of water and focusing your attention on a tall statue in the center. The locals pay none of this any mind. They need to get to where they're going. Paths out of the park lead northeast and north. One person does care about the statue. He's trying to wash some bird poop off its shoulder. A few things to look at more closely here. The statue. This bronze sculpture must stand 10 feet tall. In one hand, the man holds a small globe of Mars, which is a little fountain itself. Water flows over the planet onto the statue's hand and runs down his arm. On his shoulder is a large and unsightly white stain, which the custodian is trying to wipe away without success. The plaque says this is Mars Emperor Professor Albus Burnside, and points out, perhaps gratuitously, that he is the one who managed to bring so much drinkable water to Mars.
Did he bring the birds to Mars also?
That's a good question.
That'd be ironic.
The stain is synonymous with the statue. They are one and the same. And there's another man here who is different from the statue. The custodian is trying to shimmy up the side of the statue, a large sponge-like object in one hand. He isn't having much luck. Can I help, you ask when I talk to him. Why'd they have to bring pigeons to this planet, the custodian grumbles. Thanks for offering, but I don't see how unless you've got a cherry picker or like one of those grabber claws. Then I could grab my eraser in the claw and scrub it from down here. Or a ladder, you offer. Oh, sure, says the custodian. But you don't have any of that stuff, do you? Sorry. Yeah, it's okay, me neither.
Okay, this is the eraser we want.
That's got the eraser. Uh-oh.
We just need a ladder.
We're starting. That's the first like possible link in a chain. I see.
Mhm.
So yeah. So he needs a ladder or a claw thing.
Have we seen a ladder or a grabber claw?
I do not recall seeing either of these things
Hmm.
yet.
Okay.
Northeast it is, I suppose. Shopping center. Voices are shrieking at you from all angles, hawking skin treatments, hallucinogens, escort services, antiques, homegrown organs, designer handbags, religious experiences, illegal pets. Monitors and loudspeakers are built into the walls, into the ground, into the railings, and utility poles. Everyone but you is ignoring all of this effortlessly. One shop, way at the edge of the open air mall, seems to be very quiet. Streets lead southwest and west. This map seems to be sort of a mirror of Phoenicia,
Huh.
including the shop, although there's no stall here, but yeah. And that it's a little triangular mini map with a shop at one vertex.
Right.
The sign says this shop is called The Hideaway, which sounds very appealing from where you're standing. Let's go on in then. The Hideaway. The shelves are crowded with bizarre and distressing wares. Unrecognizable skulls grin toothily. Books with unseemly titles lean against fanciful works of taxidermy and weapons of otherworldly design. A muscular woman with incredibly thick glasses peers over the counter at you. On the counter, in a small refrigerated display, is a bowl of yogurt. Oh yeah, we've had a coat this whole time too. Yeah, this is the one thing we've picked up.
Coat.
Forgot all about it. I hope she's cold, or is like, I guess the dancer, the soldier wanted cool clothes. I don't know. Put a pin in the goat.
Ryan is impressed that you noticed the mirror map right away.
Ah. Well, thank you.
Good for us. Yes.
It's good writing. It came out at me.
Symmetry.
Her glasses make her eyes look tiny, but that doesn't stop her from being extremely intimidating. Check out the yogurt. It's a bowl of cold yogurt with chunks of various fruits sitting at the bottom, with a little sachet of granola on the side. I know just what you're talking about. Used to get those in the coffee shop in Newport, Rhode Island, quite a bit. $4. I want to talk to the yogurt. That's not something you can talk to. Fine, I'm going to talk to the woman. Hello, you say. My name is Ebenezabeth. Hey dar, says the proprietor. You here to buy something? Maybe, you say, and she rolls her eyes.
It's like the mirror image Zadar.
It is the mirror image Zadar. So she's not a lithe, spidery woman. She's a buff woman, right. Also with bug eyes of a different sort, I suppose.
Myopic.
Yeah. Can I just get the yogurt? I'd like to purchase that yogurt bowl, you tell the woman. Not for sale, she tells you back. Jeez. But I really want it. I don't think you understand.
Huh.
Now here we go. So we can show the coat to people because it's the one thing that we have. So you show her the heavy. I typed show coat to woman, and I heard you show her the heavy coat. I don't buy dirty old coats, she says. Well, now we have a new action that we can retrace our steps and do at everybody, which is to wave this coat at them and see what happens.
Do we have to clean the coat? I hope not.
Is the coat dirty?
It's a dirty old coat.
I think that I don't know. I don't want to take her super literally at this. She seems grumpy. She's the Scrooge here. She's the real Scrooge now.
Yes.
Cool. I don't suppose there's any other thing. Examine the books. You suspect these books are valuable because they are difficult to find. and that they are difficult to find because people keep burning them. Goodness me. These skulls. You're not sure such skulls could have come from any creature on Earth, but you're not eager to learn the specifics.
Oh, we're not on Earth.
And the books are burnable because their titles are unseemly.
Yes.
And there's also the taxidermy.
Banned books.
One glassy-eyed rabbit is holding a tiny machine gun. Rather than indulging in undignified detail, we will allow this individual to stand as an example for all of his unfortunate cousins.
Another gun.
Yeah, give me the rabbit. Okay, never mind. Rabbit's just for show.
Triple. We have 3 separate Chekhov's guns.
There are so many Chekhov's guns. We'll have to check off each one as we see it. Yeah, what's our score? None. Our score is none. None score.
Is it a game or a story? Make up your mind.
There's no score in this game. There's no score in this story. None of it. None of it is to be here. I want to buy the yogurt. Nothing is on sale. Oh my gosh.
Can you steal it?
Can I help you find anything? Asks Hadar. It's all very interesting, you say. She drums her fingers on the counter. Yeah, well, I want the yogurt, but I bet she's just saying it's not for sale. Right. I've had it enough for here. Out we go. I bet West takes us back to where we began. So it is. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to run around showing the code at people? Like that's my next bright idea.
I guess. Would the traffic algorithm want a dirty old coat?
At least see what they say about it. The algorithm shakes one of its monitors at you. You can't take a break right now. If we go back to London, yeah, we still have the coat. Can I just say show coat? Yeah, there we go. Scrooge was somewhat surprised at the sight of the heavy coat. Are you able to bring things back from your travels? He asked. It seems so, said the little girl. But it was very difficult to bring back little Puss and Urimidonte's violin. I think that was the Spider Demon Queen person who I vaguely recall. But I think I am getting better at it. Very good, said the old man as he turned his attention back to the heavy coat. Such a coat would be just the thing for a London winter like this, said Scrooge. But surely someone else needs it more than I do.
Surely.
Yeah, that Phoenician wanted to go up to a cold place, right?
Ooh.
He didn't have the guts to survive
the
snow and the dragons, but maybe a cool coat could help him. Thanks, Dad, for that nudge. Where was he?
Yep.
He was in the fireplace, or he was in the lamp?
Phoenician?
He was in the lamp.
Oh.
If I just type lamp, will we go there? Nope. Okay.
The second or third place? I don't remember.
Hey, I got
second place, yes. Bublos.
Ishak. You push the heavy coat onto Ishak's table. I like where this is going. What's this? He asks. It's a coat, you explain. I think you should take it to the snowy Northlands with your friends. Try it on. He tries it on. He fills it out perfectly. You've got it in yourself to do it, and you won't be alone, and you'll be warm. Warmer than all your friends, I imagine. Ishak puffs out his chest. All right. I'm not sure how, but you've convinced me. Because I got you to try on the coat, you explain. A clever little salesgirl. Well, here. He picks up an orchid on a little clay jar and presses it into your hands. Not quite a fair trade, but I'd better hurry if I'm going to catch up with them. I'm afraid I probably won't see you again, Ebenezer. You never know, you say, but he's already gone. So now we have a lovely purple orchid in a little clay jar.
Huh.
So who needs some flowers?
Maybe the soldier?
Yeah, there are 3 people in the castle, so that's somewhere we're going to visit a lot. I almost want to give it to the Goblin because he
What did the
needs.
Goblin want? He
He's
wanted
just
to
he's
believe
just
in love
cynical.
again?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
just needs to be shown something beautiful. I
Beauty.
say,
Okay.
what if we show the flower? Does Scrooge give us a hint every time we show him something? I have to look.
Maybe.
I have to look. How charming, said Scrooge of the flower, but I'm afraid it won't last long in this climate. Very well. The candle
The
was
warm summer day.
the paper. What about warm summer day?
Well, the where Mr. Colt was very warm, so maybe that's what that is hinting. I don't know.
We can try that. That was the fireplace, if I recall correctly. Perhaps hearth will work. Yes.
Would Mr. Colt want a flower? Would that teach him something about?
Oh, probably not.
trigger
I
mechanisms?
thought you were suggesting
No.
we go here because of the humidity.
Yeah, but I don't see another reason for that. But we
I
can
don't
find
either.
out.
But you know what? We've come all this way.
Go X to Y.
Let's
yes.
go over there and have we looked at the bell tower actually? I don't think we looked at that actually. I just noticed there is a gun-shaped weather vane on top of the tower. My goodness, that's really cool. Yeah, all right.
Shoot the north.
Shoot the north.
Weather. Well, it's a compass, right? It's a weather vane. But there's a gun pointing at the source of the wind.
Oh, I see. You want to like get up there and like use the weather vane like a gun emplacement.
Well, I'm just saying that is what it's metaphorically signifying.
Yeah. You know, if I try to do anything with the vane, it says you can't do much more than look from down here. Yeah. Can we like climb? Well, you could go back south, or can we climb the tower? Now I'm obsessed. No. All right, fine.
Can we go up from inside?
Oh, maybe. Ryan says in chat that he did not make up the ridiculous gun decorations on Colt's factory. I immediately want to ignore this guy and go up. You don't much feel like exploring the factory. You could go outside.
Okay.
It's a warm breeze. Show.
Don't tell us what to feel like.
Yeah. Don't tell me what to do. Show flower to Samuel Colt. He frowns at the orchid. Quite a fine accessory for a little girl. Not so much for a mustachioed adventurer like myself. Oh, so he's really into his mustache.
Yeah.
Maybe he needs like a trimming kit.
No. He's proud of his mustache.
Well, I'm not saying he needs to shave it off. Just something, just to accentuate it. I don't know. Can I like look at his mustache?
Can we smell the orchid?
You can't look at his mustache, but it's just a synonym for himself, which is in character. The orchid smells like jungle fog, like tigers, like the night. Badass. All right. I want to go to the castle though. So close your eyes. Back in London. Believe that was the candle is the castle. You actually need a verb. Yoink. And what if we give or show the flower to this dude? Would this be an acceptable gift, you ask, presenting the orchid to the soldier. He leaps back in shock. What a delicate flower! You must have cut it out with the tiniest scissors in the world. What do you want for it? I don't need any payment, you try to say, but the soldier is already hopping away. He disappears behind the castle momentarily and returns carrying a long sewing needle. This is my most valuable possession. Hardly a gift for a beautiful dancer, but a very fair trade for your orchid. I should say so, you tell him, and a trade is effected. So now we have a needle, which is a long metal bar about as long as you are tall. One end comes to a very sharp point. and the other is a narrow hole called an eye.
Yes, it is.
Indeed. That is my understanding. So who are the troubled souls that are still on our checklist here? We have Colt, who wants appreciation or a snack or something.
A customer.
Or a customer. We have the woman, the willowy woman, who I'm not sure what she wants. She doesn't want us in her shop.
She wants money.
She wants money. That's true.
Money to buy stuff, yeah.
There's the buff woman. Sorry?
Yep. Someone wanted a ladder or a grabby thing.
Yeah. I guess we have this, which isn't like he could stick his eraser on it.
The spongy guy.
Yeah.
Right. To clean off the bird poop.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, that's a totally.
A needle could do in a pinch, depending upon the material of his eraser.
Yeah, you stab the sponge and then use it to.
That's what I'm thinking.
Sponge things.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try that.
That was the lamppost on Mars.
I want to talk to the goblin again. Yeah, yes. I'm curious what the goblin would have to say about this.
Oh yeah, did the soldier go in and?
Oh yeah, where's the dancer? Yeah, we should go look at that. I'm more interested in the goblin than romance, apparently. I did show the needle to the goblin, and he said, "What are you going to do with that?" asks the goblin. "Better not try sewing me up." "Oh, well, you don't have any thread. I'm fine." Very well done. And the lovely young dancer is still here alone. And she says the same things. Okay. Wonder if the goblin is still talking about the soldier, because we solved the soldier's problem, sort of.
Yeah.
Goblin. Same deal. Okay. Wake up. And go to Mars. LGTM. That was the street lamp, right?
Yep.
Let's go to Mars. Show needle. You show the needle to the custodian. Would this help? Could be. Hand it on over. He impales the eraser sponge on the needle's point and swings it up to the statue's shoulder. The pigeon droppings are wiped away in a matter of moments. "Say, this is one handy piece of scrap metal. Mind if I keep it?" "If I can have the eraser." "Deal." He tosses you the sponge and ambles off with the needle under his arm. So this... The eraser is made from some sort of futuristic material, perfect for cleaning all sorts of things. So I'm just going to go right ahead and zip back to the dancer, since I think that's where that's going.
Eraser foot.
Eraser foot. The dancer's eyes light up. "Oh, an eraser! May I have that?" "Certainly," you say, and the dancer begins straight away to scrub at one of her feet. Thank you, she cries. "But I must give you a reward." And she unties the spangle from around her waist and hands it to you. "Now, perhaps I am presentable enough to approach that brave soldier. But perhaps I should ask that goblin first." So she's still here. She didn't run away. Talk to her. "Don't you think it's time that you went out and talked to the tin soldier?" The dancer swallows a lump in her throat. "I'm not sure. Can such a noble man really love someone like me? Someone who once had a smudge?" "Yes," you say, but she's not listening. And still her old self. So what is the spangle that she gave us?
Spangle.
Is it a coin-like thing? Why, yes, the spangle is a thin disc of glittering metal pierced by a small hole, perhaps like an ancient coin, through which is run a bit of thread. just long enough to be worn around a slender individual's waist. Can I wear the spangle? Oh, you can. That's nice.
The thin woman might like it.
Yeah. Also, well, I mean, I added the editorializing about how it resembled an ancient coin.
Yes.
But I think the thin woman might like that for multiple reasons. So let's go back to the first place. No, the first place was Colt.
Show it to Scrooge while we're here.
Sure. I wonder if we call it coin, will that work?
Interesting to see.
No.
Don't.
Hey, Pops, check out my spangle. Look at that. Was it very expensive? Asked Ebenezer. I don't think so, said the little girl. So oil lamp again. Yoink. And that is east, and that is in. And show spangle. When she sees the twinkling metal, Zadar's eyes go as wide as O-balls. Another ancient coin. What's that you've got there? She almost yanks it off of your waist. Very good. It knew that we were wearing it. Just an accessory of sorts, you tell her, pulling it back from her. Just an accessory of sorts, perhaps, you tell her, pulling it back from her. How much do you want for it? You shrug. She steps back, regains her composure. Here's an idea, she says. I have some dye here from Tyrus. It's worth more than your own little life. But for a one-of-a-kind item like yours, it's a disgustingly fair trade. You pretend to take a while to think about it, and then you nod. She hands over the pot of Tyrian dye. You hand over the spangle. The dye, examine dye. The dye on examination is a clay pot containing a quantity of dark purple ooze. The smell isn't very appealing. No, well, now I have to smell it. Smell ye. It smells like the docks back in Copenhagen. Finally, something that smells like Copenhagen in this game. Of which I have a art print on my wall. But that is not relevant to this game.
Yes.
Go on.
Where is Tyrian dye from?
From Tyrus. Tyrus. It says so right there.
Tyrus?
Yeah. This is not
Tyrus, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I'm an expert. All right. So we have purple gunk that we can either apply to something to make it more purple, or we can give to somebody who needs color.
Or smell.
The first ridiculous thing I think of is that the buff shopkeeper wants to make her yogurt less bland with a new sauce.
Okay. I think we want the yogurt for the Mr. Colt.
I think you're right. I think he needs to eat something that's strongly clued. So the goblin... Well, let's wake up. We're done here. And show dye... Ebenezereth told her father about the dye. He was quite impressed. Very valuable stuff, he cried. We must put it to good use, but I trust your judgment, of course. Of course. So again, we have Colt is hungry. Algorithm, I'm just going on memory here. Algorithm is tired and overworked. I'm not sure what the buff shopkeeper's deal is. She has a yogurt and just doesn't want to do anything.
Right. She has lots of forbidden books and things.
I guess maybe we could trade her that. She does like weird stuff. That's not a bad... That's actually, you know what? That's not a bad idea. I like that.
Sure.
And that was a street lamp. She was on Mars, right? I believe so.
Yes.
I believe so. Show die.
Hadar.
Cannot remember Hadar's name. You show her the jar. What is this? It stinks. It's a sort of dye, Tyrian purple, you say, about 3,000 years old. She stares at you. Then she grabs an odd machine from behind the counter. She points it at the jar, and it starts beeping and clicking. It's your... She coughs. Okay, name your price. The yogurt, you say. You got it. You take the yogurt bowl.
Wow.
That's great.
What a deal.
Yeah. And it's just she goes back to her old self after.
Don't know why she wanted it, but she wanted it.
Well, I mean, it sort of goes in with that she is in a futuristic curio shop, and it would go with everything else.
And the odd machine.
The odd machine makes us think of the machine in Colt's laboratory that everything added up to. And my initial hypothesis that would be touring the world of arithmetic has not borne fruit. Alas.
No. Or the submarine.
Or the submarine. These are all good guesses, but alas, not this game. We are going to go back to the fireplace. All right. Paterson. We're not there yet. Gotta go north. Gotta go in. Look at the yogurt before we hand it over. One last look at the yogurt. We got the granola. Good. I was afraid we'd forget that. Show the yogurt. Moment of truth. We're here.
Yogurt.
You push the yogurt bowl into his lap. Eat this, you say. You need it. He sighs deeply, but relents. Very soon, he asks you where you got such a delicious bowl of yogurt. So you tell him the whole story. He's understandably confused by certain details, and you're forced to go back and tell him about your earlier adventure about the night Ebenezer Scrooge adopted you. Soon, Mr. Colt is feeling much better, and he begins working on his revolver. He asks you to keep going, though, so you go to a convenience store and Atlantis. And then you get to the part where you are forced to destroy the vampiress Urimidonte with Poseidon's trident. You still feel awful about that. You wish you could have done anything else to stop her. Violence is the redoubt of an imperfect wisdom, says Samuel Colt, staring down at his revolver. Nobler beings than we will make plowshares out of all such swords one day, but in this age, perfect wisdom eludes us. We indulge our barbarism in the name of civilization. We dress cruelty and vengeance in the tattered robes of justice. And we answer violence with violence. And we answer ignorance with ignorance, hatred with hatred. When our better angels would have us wield forgiveness and compassion, we wield this. He places the gun in your hands, and we tell ourselves we are putting the world to right. It's heavier than you expected. This is good. You are doomed to face questions without easy answers, he says. Until a perfect wisdom presents itself, I suggest you learn to use this. I engraved it for you, see? You run your fingers over the steel. Thank you, Mr. Colt. So it was that by means of a heavy coat, an orchid, a needle, an eraser, a spangle, some Tyrian dye, and a yogurt bowl, the little match girl came to possess her famous Colt Paterson revolver. But she still had something left to do. We gotta go teach that goblin a lesson. Do you want to read
read the engraving?
Yeah, can we read gun? Good idea. I like that. An intricate pattern of flames is engraved in the side of your revolver, surrounding the words, "For my friend Ebenezer Samuel Colt." Is his description? Oh, if we look at Colt, it's the revolver. Can we look at Sam? Can we look at man? Samuel is busy imagining some complicated mechanism or something. You should probably leave him to it. But if we talk to him, it'll be the same answer. Thanks again for the yogurt, Miss Scrooge. I'm feeling much more optimistic, and I think my headache is subsiding. I'm glad to hear it, Mr. Colt.
Okay. We have something left to do. Do we need to ask? Oh, how about the algorithm? Do we have to shoot the algorithm?
Let's shoot the algorithm. Oh, we can shoot things.
Silent.
Shoot vein. I just want to blast at things. Yeah.
Is there a bell in the bell tower?
Bing. No, we can't shoot. Oh, it really is a gun-shaped weather vane up there, by the way. You had to look twice. It encourages you to look twice, and it's like, no, it really is. Very good. Well, let's go back to Mars, per your suggestion. See if we can interact with the... you want to put the algorithm out of his misery? Is that what you're thinking?
No. Oh, well, it's the only thing left. I think.
Show gun to Ebenezer Scrooge. Goodness, said Ebenezer Scrooge. Where did you get that? In New Jersey, explained the girl. This seemed not to sit right with the old man, but all he said was, well, please be careful. So, like, that's a street lamp, right?
Yes.
Lamp. It was south. Oh, no, the algorithm was right there in the... Okay. Shoot algo rhythm. You have no desire to harm the traffic algorithm. Can we show him
we don't.
Show him some fun. Show him the gun. Nope. The algorithm is just stuck. He's just done a loop. Is the statue cleaned up? Yeah. All right. Statue's cleaned up. Custodian is there. I don't think there's anything else to do here. I think we have a date with Destiny back in the castle.
Oh. The Goblin?
Again, title of game.
Oh.
You know, I mean,
I've already forgotten it.
Yeah,
yes.
not to cynically apply information from outside the game to the game, but it's still the title of the game that we have to teach the Goblin the value of virtue or something like that. Oh, actually, I have the Mastodon post in front of me. Taught virtue to a goblin. Taught a virtue to a goblin. So a very particular virtue we have to go teach to a goblin. That is the candle, the smallest of the flames for the smallest of the destinations. Well, okay, how should we do this? What do you think?
Talk to him.
The goblin smiles down at you, and you smile up at him. Mr. Goblin, you begin. What do you think would happen if I went out into the courtyard and screamed at the top of my lungs to the tin soldier and to the paper dancer, telling both of them that each loves the other, and that all the advice you gave them was nothing but a bunch of cruel and pointless lies? He is no longer smiling. I don't think you should do that, he says. I see. Well, we could go outside and scream.
Did we show him the gun?
I want to try screaming first. I think showing him the gun seems to be a one-way trip. So it feels like to me. So if I go out into the courtyard and say scream. Okay, you take a deep breath and you begin explaining the situation as loudly as you can. So, the tin soldier came into the courtyard, and the paper dancer came out from her hall, and the two came to understand quite quickly that there were not so many obstacles to their love as they had thought. The goblin tried to run away, but this was difficult as he was sewn into a snuff box. He was apprehended without much trouble, and it was decided generally among all the other toys that his deceptions should be punished. So they pushed him off the table into a drawer, where he was shut up with a lot of boring stationery and bits of string. When she was sure that the goblin had been dealt with justly, but not cruelly, Ebenezabeth woke up and returned to London, where she told Ebenezer Scrooge about all that had transpired, how she had acquired her new revolver through the use of a heavy coat, an orchid, a needle, an eraser, a spangle, some Tyrian dye, and a yogurt bowl. And she explained how Mr. Colt's speech had inspired her to deal with the goblin without violence, or the threat of violence, but by teaching him a virtue. At this point, I suppose I should make sure that the story has had the correct effect on its patient reader. Would you mind telling me, if you can, what the virtue was that the little match girl taught to the goblin?
I think I know.
Let's hear it.
So this is the puzzle. Do you want me to just tell you the puzzle?
Yes. We are working on this together after all.
So the heavy coat, the orchid, the needle, an eraser. Take the first letters of each of those.
Aha. Okay, wait. That's not counting articles?
Articles, yeah. No.
So does heavy coat start with an H or a C? I'm already just falling down on this. C?
An H.
An H? Okay, H-O-N-E-S-T-Y-B. Honestyb. That's exactly right. And now the story is over. We can read it again if we like, but it will all turn out the same. Spacebar does nothing. The game is over.
Okay.
Hooray.
All right.
One almost wants to hit undo to bring the storm clouds of threatened violence to the goblin, but I'm very glad that we didn't.
Yeah, that we never checked off the gun.
Never. The gun was in fact not Chekhoved at any moment, but there are sequels, and
yes,
I'm going to say that at approximately 90 minutes, I'm going to call it rather than attempt to begin one. But let's do this again soon.
Yeah,
because there's at least two more of these.
At least, yes.
At least. Okay, Ryan, if you're out there, as long as you keep churning out little Match Girl adventures, Doug and I will continue to play them on the internet.
Yes. Maybe next year.
Maybe next year. Well, next year is 2 days away, so in fact.
Yep.
All righty. Okay, me press button now. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.